Long ago in past centuries, there were smart people who believed the earth was flat. They believed the earth was flat because it appeared that way as far as they could see. The oceans and the horizon seemed to come to an abrupt end, and therefore it appeared that anything could just drop off that edge into nothing. Many people in centuries long ago did not and could not understand that our world was actually round, and our oceans and horizons were not flat. They also could not understand how gravity affected our round world and everything on it. People relied only on their eyes and limited knowledge of our world and the sky above to make them believe only what they saw and not what was real. Now, just about everyone believes our world is not only round and not flat, but we also understand what gravity is and how it works. When we find out the truth about something that was physically hidden from us in the past, it can be very surprising. Unfortunately, there are many people these days who still only believe what their eyes tell them, even though they have no real evidence to back up what their eyes are seeing. Take aliens from other planets, for example. Some people believe that aliens from other planets must have come here and did or built mysterious things that we see because they don't think there is another viable explanation. But there are no aliens and no meaningful evidence of that. Plus, why would any alien travel through trillions of miles of space and stars and care about what is going on here? We are a nothing planet relative to the rest of the universe. Another thing we see with our eyes is what is beyond the sky above. When we look up into the night sky and see the moon and stars, it appears to many of us there is not a big distance between us and those celestial objects. We only know the real distances in space now because we have technology and exploratory space vehicles that show us the actual distances, which are much further than most of us ever imagined. We are learning more about our world and universe around us as the years go by. But there is one important thing that many people believe about human life because they only trust their eyes. That one thing is death, human death. Just like a flat earth where ocean water runs off the edge into nothing. Beyond the edge of life is what people believe to be permanent death, and that we go off that edge into nothingness or oblivion. Of course, no dead earthly human being has ever come back from death to tell us otherwise. Many people believe there is nothing more after this life. They believe this one mortal life is all we have, and then there is just endless darkness and non-existence buried in a cemetery or turned to ashes. But what if they are wrong about that? Nevertheless, if it is true, then this is a very sad epitaph for anyone's life. Permanently gone, no hope, only darkness, forever and ever. That's all you would get in believing that evolution, all by itself, made everything. There are some people who believe, without any assurance at all, that after they die, they'll come back to Earth one day as something else or somebody else and start life all over again. They perform rituals and chants while they are alive and do other religious trappings, hoping it helps get them to the next life. But they don't ever know for sure, and none of what they try to do will make it happen. Beyond the edge of life is where our bodies deteriorate unless you find the everlasting truth now before it is too late. Where will you be in eternity that's coming your way? Will you be in darkness forever, never to see the light again? Or have you found the guaranteed way out that will save you from that eternal darkness and destruction? Have you thought about that before? Others believe that if they are good enough in this life, then they'll attain a place in heaven or some higher level in an afterlife of bliss. But there is no one out there who is counting up the good things you do, say, or think in your life versus the bad things you do, say, or think. That is not happening. Something or someone in the heavens with the power to make eternal decisions would have to be keeping track of our individual lives to determine if we get to a better place beyond this life after we are dead. But that's all just wishful thinking. The atheist or agnostic believers are the people who are most against the probability that something or someone designed all of existence throughout the universe. The only other possibility is a so-called evolutionary process that makes everything come into existence all by itself through time, chance, luck, self-existing energy, and continual changes until life got it right and could sustain and grow itself. That would be like rolling the dice and having perfect luck when the odds are against you. Both sides would try to show and convince others with their evidence that what they believe is the right way and is the truth that we can count on. But only one side can be right, and there can only be one truth out there for all of life to be here. If you believe you are here by good luck and by chance, and therefore are simply a cosmic accident with no real purpose or intrinsic meaning or value, then you should be a miserable or pitied person because you have absolutely no real hope beyond this short life. You got here by accident, by luck, and then there's nothing more after this is over. No more colors, no more light, no more beauty, no more happiness, and no more love. Just darkness and eternal nothingness and loneliness forever is what you believe will happen to you. In other words, beyond the edge of life for you is nothing but a deep pit of eternal darkness without ever having or seeing light, colors, and beauty again. This is what the atheist and even the agnostic promise you. Without admitting it, they promise you and themselves hopelessness beyond the short mortal life. Atheists and agnostic believers want to sound smart and sometimes try to hedge their bets by saying maybe there will be more than just this life. But then they worry about being good enough to deserve it. Are atheists and agnostic believers and those who hold to needing to be good enough in this life afraid of permanent eternal darkness and loneliness forever after they die? Yes, of course they are, but they will not tell you that. They are too proud to admit it. They also want continued colors, light, and happiness forever. But they will never get what they want if they reject the truth. Their stubborn pride will take them down and will keep them from what they want and could otherwise have. Then there are the good people who I mentioned. These are people who put their faith in their so-called good behavior and their good deeds. These good people are unfortunately blind to themselves. Many things that are good to them are seen as bad or even evil by others. Abortion of preborn babies would be a prime example of that. For some people, they feel abortion is the correct and best decision in the case of the human mother being pregnant and not sure if they want that baby. That's what they believe, and they would call themselves good. In fact, supporters of abortion would likely encourage those mothers to abort their babies in many circumstances and would think their advice is good. They are self-proclaimed good people. The pro-abortion believers see themselves as good in their belief. The anti-abortion believers see the pro-abortion believers as bad people or people with bad intentions that produce evil outcomes. But who is right and who is wrong, and who determines who is good and who is bad? Politics is another area in which there are sharp differences among people, with some people supporting certain topics and platforms and others who are against them. Some people support certain candidates who are running for office, while others are against those candidates. Who is right and who is wrong in those situations? Which candidate is good and which one is bad? It depends on who you ask. There are so many ways that one person can disagree with another person. In war, who is the good guy and who is the bad guy? It depends on which side you are on and what you believe. Ask one opposing side about the other side and see the hatred that comes out, regardless of the truth. Man is not good because ultimately, good cannot be defined in the context of evolution. Animals kill other animals to eat and feed themselves so they can survive. They feel no remorse in doing that. It is natural for them to do so. In that way, it should be natural for humans who want to survive to be able to kill other humans if we are just evolved creatures like the animals. If we are evolved, then humans should feel no remorse and not be penalized for killing other humans if we're out to survive and have a longer lasting life in society. Evolution does not and cannot produce goodness in creatures. It can only produce survival and becoming stronger and longer lasting as a species. Love is temporary and takes a back seat to survival and selfishness in the animal world, and in the human world as well, it seems. That is what so-called evolution produces. It cannot give us real meaning as human beings other than just surviving and trying to thrive here and now, just like the animals in the jungle. Evolution eventually turns everything to darkness because evolution has no meaning. If evolution is all there is, then humans simply exist and survive and want to thrive in whatever way suits them. Humans doing what they want and when they want because we have no meaning except to ourselves and a few others, and that only lasts a very short time. In the end, evolution offers nothing except despair and disappointment for human beings. One day, all the people alive now who believe in so-called evolution and life originating by luck over supposed vast amounts of time from nothing will go to their grave as dead creatures with no long-term meaning and no real hope. Their bodies will turn to dust, and anything they were and did will eventually evaporate with them, never to return. It will be as if all those people never existed, just like all these happy people at the beach above nearly 100 years ago. None of them are alive anymore, including the youngest kids in the photo, and it's like they never existed from our point of view. Each one of them is buried in a grave somewhere or turned to dust. In 300 years from now, no one then will care about or remember people and things that we know, now like Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the Beatles, Frank Sinatra, Star Wars, iPads, radios, TVs, and almost anything and anybody else which exists today. It will be like none of what is around us today ever existed. 300 years is a long, long time, but eternity is much longer because in eternity, there is no more time. Time will not exist for you and me in eternity. Whatever happens to you after you die will be eternal and last forever and ever. That can be a very good or very bad outcome, depending on who you are. When you go beyond the edge of life and into your forever, be sure you are ready because it is real. Don't think the edge of life will simply have you in a coffin forever with nothing more to come. Do you really want to trust your eyes with your eternity? Do you really want to take such a lax or nonchalant attitude about something as important as where you are really going to be when you die? Just because your eyes want you to believe something is true does not mean it is. There could be much more coming your way after you die, and it might not be good. The lion or tiger looks cute when he or she is sleeping, but when that lion or tiger wakes up and you are right there, they will likely be hungry and simply rip your head off and eat you. That is reality. Death will be like that too. It looks like a dead person is sleeping when they are first put in their coffin, but it does not take long for us to know the truth of what they are really doing. And the fact they are not resting or sleeping. They are no longer alive to do that. Death can also rip your head off, so to speak, if you are not ready for it. Evolution won't save you, and scientists and astrophysicists cannot save you. They cannot give you, your family, or your friends any real hope at all, and you cannot save yourself from permanent darkness and despair. You may shrug your shoulders and laugh now, but you will not be laughing later. What you will need to save you from all that is a powerful lifeguard who can rescue you from the eternal abyss and loneliness to come. If you should consider your life and impending death seriously enough, and you start asking questions about what really comes next once you get beyond the edge of life, and you want to know the truth which can set you free from your fear, then please ask me. Don't go into eternity with no more colors, no more light, and no more happiness ever again. You can either have darkness, separation, and loneliness forever, or you can have more colors, light, happiness, and beauty forever. The choice is yours.